I heard my wife laughing in the other room. She was rehearsing her divorce speech with her friend. He'll cry, then grovel, then sign whatever I want. So I filed first and served her at her office potluck. Hey there, we're working hard to hit our first 1,000 subscribers. If you love true, emotional stories, hit that subscribe button. It helps more than you know. Now let's get into the story. He'll cry, then grovel, then sign whatever I want. I didn't even mean to eavesdrop. I was just walking down the hallway with a load of laundry when I heard laughter coming from the home office. My wife Samantha never laughed like that around me anymore. Not in months. So yeah, I paused. Just for a second. Just enough to hear the words that would change everything I thought I knew about my marriage. It wasn't the kind of laugh you share after watching something funny. It was sharp, cruel, the kind that comes after saying something twisted and knowing someone else agrees with you. Samantha was on speakerphone. I recognized the voice of her best friend, Lindsay, the same friend who never really liked me, the one who once said I looked like a guy who'd be loyal forever because no one else would want him. Then I heard Samantha say it, word for word. It's all lining up. I'll wait for the April bonus, then file. He'll cry, then grovel, then sign whatever I want. Men like him always do. They're too scared to be alone. I just stood there, frozen, laundry in hand. For a second, I honestly thought I misheard. But then they both laughed again, longer this time. And I knew I hadn't imagined it. I didn't confront her. I didn't slam the door open. I just turned around, walked back into the bedroom, and shut the door as quietly as I could. My heart was racing. My hands were shaking. I've never been the kind of guy who yells or makes scenes. I was raised to keep things calm, collected. But this was something else. It wasn't just betrayal, it was strategy. She was planning this. With bullet points. I sat on the edge of the bed for a while, staring at the wall, thinking, replaying it over and over again. What did she mean? It's all lining up. Why wait until April? What else didn't I know? I didn't sleep that night. She came to bed around midnight, acting like nothing had happened, kissed me on the cheek, turned off the lamp, and rolled over. Meanwhile, I lay there wide awake next to a woman who had already emotionally left me months ago, who was waiting for a payout, who thought I'd just collapse when she finally pulled the trigger. That night, something in me flipped. I wasn't going to sit and wait to be discarded. If she wanted a game, I'd play it. But on my terms. Here's the thing about Samantha. She's always been a planner. When we first started dating, I used to love that about her. She had schedules for everything, vacations, birthdays, even laundry days. But now I was starting to wonder if she had been planning me, too. Looking back, the signs were there. I just didn't want to see them. The constant overtime. The last-minute girls' nights. The way she suddenly started keeping her phone upside down on the table. She said it was because notifications were distracting. The subtle digs. You're too nice sometimes. Too easy. You'd never survive dating now. The weird new boundaries she set, like not touching her laptop or asking about her meetings. I chalked it up to stress. She worked in finance. Lots of deadlines. Long hours. But now, I realized it wasn't stress. It was strategy. The next morning, I got up early. Earlier than usual. She was still asleep. I stood there for a second, just watching her. It's wild how quickly your view of someone can shift. Just 12 hours earlier, I would have sworn I loved her more than anything. And now, I felt nothing. Not even hate. Just distance. She had planned to blindside me. So I started planning something of my own. You ever look back and realize you were the only one trying? That you were basically carrying something that already died a while ago, and no one bothered to tell you? That's what the next few days felt like. After I heard Samantha's little divorce speech rehearsal, I started looking at everything differently. And honestly, the pieces fell together way too easily. It was like I'd been walking through a house filled with cracks, but I'd convinced myself it was just old paint. She was pulling away months ago, maybe even a year, and not in a we're growing apart way. No, this was more tactical, cold, measured. I started to replay old moments in my head, almost obsessively. Conversations that didn't seem weird at the time suddenly looked like red flags with sirens blaring. There was the time she told me not to buy her a birthday gift, said she just wanted space and time alone to relax. I respected that. I thought it was sweet that she just wanted peace. Turns out she booked a spa weekend out of town, one she paid for using our joint credit card. And I only recently realized there were 2 plane tickets. She told me her phone broke one weekend, and she couldn't respond to any of my texts. But her Insta story was full of cute wine bar pics. None of me, of course. Just the classic cheese board and legs angle. Then there were the financial changes. She suggested combining our bank accounts for easier tax reporting. I thought, great, trust and transparency. But soon after that, money started disappearing. Small amounts at first, $300 here, $600 there. I'd ask and she'd brush it off like, oh, just bills. Subscription stuff. Annual renewals. I didn't want to be that guy, the one who micromanages his wife's purchases. So I let it slide. But after hearing what I heard that night, I couldn't unhear it. I couldn't sit still. So I started digging. And I mean really digging. One morning while she was in the shower, I grabbed her laptop. We both knew each other's passwords. At least I thought we did. Hers had changed. She told me it was for security reasons, some IT policy at work. Sure. So I waited. That night, while she was asleep, I slipped into the office and tried the password again. Same block. But here's the thing. Samantha may have been smart, but she was lazy with details. So I guessed a few things I knew she used for passwords. Our dog's name, her college, her go-to quote from the office. It took 3 tries. Then I was in. There was a folder on the desktop, labeled Final Q2. Inside, I found spreadsheets, financial projections, budget templates. Most of it looked work-related until I scrolled down. Then I saw a document called Plan B.pdf. And that's when it hit me. It wasn't just a backup. It was the plan. Inside the PDF were things like a breakdown of our shared assets, a timeline labeled before bonus/after bonus, notes like file after April, maximize year-end payout, a list of things to claim sole ownership of, including a car I bought, even a pre-written email draft to her attorney, saved under, ready to send when needed. She was prepping a clean exit, one that left me broke, confused, and, if I hadn't overheard her, completely blindsided. And maybe the worst part? There was a note near the bottom that said, he won't fight. He never does. Just wait him out. That hit me harder than anything. She didn't just plan on leaving. She counted on me being too weak to stop her. That's when the switch really flipped. I wasn't going to cry. I wasn't going to grovel. I was going to beat her to it. The next few weeks turned into a kind of quiet war. A silent chess match, except only one of us knew it had started. Samantha still thought I was in the dark. She was smiling more, acting relaxed, coming home early some nights, offering to cook, even asked if I wanted to start planning a vacation for summer. I nodded, played along, kissed her goodnight, told her I loved her. I felt like I was living with a stranger in my own house. But behind the scenes, I was building a case. First step, I started making digital copies of everything. Bank statements, tax returns, car titles, investment records. Every paper she thought I didn't care about, I scanned and emailed to myself under a fake Gmail I created just for this mess. I also ordered a backup credit report, which, surprise, listed 2 store credit cards I'd never seen before. One was registered to a P.O. box 2 cities over. And yes, it had a balance. So while Samantha thought I was watching Netflix and half dozing on the couch at night, I was scrolling through statements and noting every weird purchase, every cash withdrawal, every hotel charge that didn't align with any work trips she'd mentioned. Second step, I hired a private investigator. I felt ridiculous doing it, like something out of a cheap daytime soap. But my gut told me there was more. The PI was an older guy named Rick, ex-cop, quiet, efficient. I told him what I suspected and handed over the details. All I said was, I think my wife's trying to pull something big. I need to know how deep it goes. He asked me to give him 2 weeks. I gave him 3. In the meantime, I kept playing the role. Samantha was ramping up the act. She started complimenting me out of nowhere. You've been working out? Dinner was amazing tonight. That kind of thing. She even initiated, well, you know, which honestly made my stomach turn. It felt like I was sleeping next to a trap. But I played the role, smiled, said all the right things. If she suspected anything, she never showed it. And then came the report. Rick called me one afternoon and said, you're going to want to sit down. He wasn't kidding. The photos he sent looked like a punch to the chest. Samantha, with a guy I'd never seen before. Tall, clean cut, typical finance bro kissing her in a hotel lobby, holding hands in a cafe, getting into a car together late at night. His name? Landon. Rick tracked him down. They worked together, not in the same department, but close enough to bump into each other at company events. According to the hotel's digital logs, They'd checked in together 4 times in the past 2 months. Always a weekend. Always under his name. I found out later that he was divorced and very much interested in moving in with Samantha once she finalized things. But here's what made my blood run cold. Rick found a video. Security footage from the hotel bar. Samantha and Landon sitting together, laughing. And then I saw her mouth the words. He's just a placeholder. Landon, you're the future. A placeholder. After everything. Years of support, helping her through her career change, covering for her when she lost her job in 2020, sticking through family drama, paying off her car loan. I was the placeholder. I didn't rage. I didn't cry. I didn't punch a wall or throw things. I just felt something inside me go still, like a light switch flipping to off. And right then, I knew what I had to do. I wasn't going to just leave. I was going to end it my way. Here's the thing about being underestimated. It gives you room to move. Samantha thought I was predictable. She thought I'd break down, beg her to stay, make her feel powerful, that I'd be too confused or too hurt to think clearly. And maybe if I hadn't heard her speech that night, I would have been. But once I saw the whole game board, I stopped playing defense. Now I was planning something she didn't expect, to be served first. The day after Rick sent me everything, I met with a divorce attorney. Her name was Marla. Sharp, direct, didn't sugarcoat anything. I told her everything, Samantha's plan, the Plan B file, the financial transfers, the affair. She listened quietly and said something I'll never forget. If she's planning a clean exit, beat her to it. Control the narrative. Don't react, act. We drafted everything in one sitting. Marla helped me gather documents, freeze joint spending, and file early. Legally, there was nothing stopping me, especially with the proof of infidelity and financial deceit. We pulled credit records, old emails, tax trails. She found loopholes Samantha had missed. We even calculated the bonuses she was waiting to receive and how they could be locked in during the proceedings if I filed first. By the time Samantha would even think about getting to a lawyer, I'd already be halfway through the process. And the best part? We added everything we found into a sealed packet. Evidence, timelines, emails, even the transcript Rick helped piece together from the hotel footage. The next move was timing. I needed the delivery to be public, but not cruel, just efficient. And then the perfect opportunity came up. Samantha had been prepping for her company's annual spring potluck. It wasn't just food and chit-chat. They used it as a morale booster, a mini award show for employee achievements. Samantha was hosting this year. That meant standing in front of her coworkers, giving speeches, passing out recognition, smiling for office photos. And Landon would be there too. Of course. She had no idea I even knew about the event, or that I'd be on the guest list. See, one of the benefits of staying quiet is that people keep underestimating you. Samantha forgot I used to help design the invite templates. The RSVP system? I still had the logins. So I added myself as a guest using a coworker's name, printed a badge, and boom, access secured. Marla arranged the official delivery. We made it clean. No drama. Just the kind of service that hits hard, because it's silent. In the meantime, I kept up the performance. At home, I was the loving husband. I joked about making summer plans. I offered to help her pick out a dress for the potluck. I asked if she wanted to invite her parents over for dinner the next weekend. Every time she smiled at me, every time she touched my shoulder or laughed too loudly at my jokes, I could see it. That smug confidence. She thought she had me exactly where she wanted. What she didn't know was that in 4 days, she'd be opening a bakery box in front of 40 coworkers, with court documents nestled inside, and a quiet note taped to the lid that said, "Since you like surprises." Friday afternoon. Spring potluck day. The weather was perfect. One of those obnoxiously sunny afternoons where even traffic seems calmer. I pulled up 2 blocks away from Samantha's office and parked under a tree. I sat in the car for a few minutes, just breathing. No nerves, no second guessing. Just steady. I had the bakery box on the passenger seat. Inside, a clean stack of divorce papers, our financial breakdown, evidence of her affair, and a custom note, handwritten on thick stationery. You rehearsed the speech. I just skipped ahead to the ending. No need to grovel. I'm already gone. I taped the note to the lid and closed it. Then I walked in. The receptionist barely looked up when I flashed the RSVP badge. Samantha's company wasn't huge, and with all the guests arriving, I was just another name on the list. The potluck was set up in the office's event room. Balloons, catering trays, folding tables, co-workers and weekend casual. And right there at the front, Samantha, in a floral dress, beaming like she owned the world. And standing right beside her, Landon, not even trying to hide it. His hand hovered at the small of her back like he'd done it 100 times. They weren't touching, but they might as well have been. She saw me. It took her half a second to register that it was me. Her smile didn't break, yet, but her eyes widened. I walked right up to the front table, calm as ever. One of the managers had just handed her a small microphone, and she was about to launch into her little team appreciation speech. "Hi, Sam," I said, placing the bakery box gently on the table beside her. "Early birthday treat." She blinked. "Jake, what are you doing here?" I didn't answer. I just smiled, turned around, and walked back through the crowd, leaving her standing there with her coworkers, the mic in one hand, and a box that had no cake inside. I didn't look back, but I heard the whisper spread like a shockwave. "What is that? Is that legal papers? Oh my God. Wait, is she crying?" Someone gasped. Someone else laughed, nervous and confused. And Landon? I could feel his silence behind me, like he'd just realized he was standing inside a live grenade. By the time I got to the parking lot, I had 3 missed calls from Samantha. One from her personal phone, one from her work phone, one from her mom. I turned my phone off. That night, she came home late. I didn't know whether she'd show up angry, desperate, or fake calm, but I was gone before she could. Left a single note on the kitchen counter. "The locks have been changed. You can contact Marla for everything else." I stayed at my buddy Drew's place for the weekend. We grilled steaks and watched old action movies like nothing happened. The next week, chaos. Samantha tried to text me everything from "you blindsided me" to "this is illegal" to "we can still fix this if we talk." She didn't deny anything. Didn't even try. Landon? Fired. HR got involved. Apparently, office relationships were technically against policy, and someone had submitted anonymous photo evidence with timestamps. Wonder who that was. Samantha? Got moved to another department. Not quite fired, but definitely demoted. And her team? They all saw the delivery. No one was pretending anymore. The image she worked years to build shattered in one afternoon. 3 months later, I was officially divorced. Clean. Fast. No courtroom drama. No dragged-out battles. No teary-eyed, "please don't do this" moment. Just cold paperwork and a few strategic chess moves that Samantha never saw coming. And I didn't cry. Not once. Not when I moved out. Not when I signed the final documents. Not even when I saw her name disappear from our bank account and become just another memory in my inbox. Instead, I felt relief. Not the happy kind. The earned kind. The kind of peace that comes after walking away from a fire you didn't start, but damn sure made sure didn't burn you down with it. She tried to flip the script, of course. That same week after the potluck, she showed up at Drew's apartment, twice. The first time, I didn't answer. She stood outside for 10 minutes. I watched from the upstairs window while she cried into her phone. The second time, I opened the door and handed her an envelope. Inside was a copy of her own Plan B PDF, printed in color. I didn't say a word. She didn't either. She just stared at it like it was a ghost and walked away. The court took one look at the timeline and ruled in my favor for almost everything. Because of her affair, the lawyer caught purchases made on our joint card that went toward hotel stays, gifts, even Landon's rent for 2 months. Marla argued that as marital fraud. It worked. I got a fair split and walked away without paying a cent in alimony. Turns out, Samantha had been betting big on a final bonus payout that got suspended after her demotion. She was left scrambling, suddenly needing to sell her car, and moved back in with her parents temporarily to save money. Her parents didn't know the full story. She told them I flipped on her out of nowhere. Claimed she was blindsided. Marla made sure the truth was on record, just in case. Landon ghosted her, by the way. After he lost his job, I guess the whole start a life together plan didn't look so sparkly. Rick said he moved to another city 2 weeks later. New number, new email, blocked her on everything. Samantha messaged me, again, asking to just meet for coffee, no pressure. I never replied. I kept it quiet. I didn't blast her online. Didn't trash her to mutual friends. Just kept living. I switched gyms. Bought a new car. Started reading again. Found a little apartment near a lake. Every morning now, I sit by the window with coffee and just breathe. It's not much, but it's mine. A couple of months ago, I even started dating again. Slowly, carefully. No big moves yet. Just someone who laughs at my dumb jokes and doesn't make me feel like I need to check her phone while she showers. And the best part? I didn't need to deliver some big revenge speech. I didn't need to scream or throw things or burn bridges. All I did was give her what she wanted, a divorce. I just made sure I got there first. Final line I'd want a narrator to end with on YouTube. She said I'd cry and sign whatever she wanted. I didn't cry, and she ended up signing everything I left behind. And that's the story. If you're still here, that means you're one of us. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. I drop new chaos every single day, and trust me, tomorrow's story, it's even worse than this one.